Hello and welcome to Pretty Good Gaming's early impressions and gameplay video of Gears 5. Here, taking the reins today is Mr. Henry. Chainsaws out there ready. Cooper,
I don't have a chainsaw on me at the moment. I've got a jazzy crossbow and a DMR, basically. So
much for my introductions.
I know.
My name's Gareth Evans. So we're going to take a laid-back look at some of the early gameplay. You've had some time playing this game so far. We're going to read out some impressions, some reviews, maybe have a look at the review scores, and also have a discussion, maybe not so laid back discussion, about the monetization in the game.
There is a lot of questions around the monetization right now.
Yeah, but first up, how is the game? How do you find it? You're a fan of the series, are you enjoying it?
Big fan. I'm only about 3 hours-ish in to Gears 5, which I thought was more. Like, I was playing for a bit and I was really, really enjoying it. I thought time had flown by, but only about 3 hours. I skipped Gears 4 because I didn't own an Xbox One, and I don't feel guilty about doing that because everything I saw was along my preconceptions. But I'm having a great time here.
So in this one, you're playing as Kate Diaz, the first time that the series has featured a female protagonist.
Yeah.
People are in favour of.
Yeah, you start off... Yeah, I like her a lot. You start off as JD, who is the protagonist of Gears 4, and I'm currently driving a sledge. That's fun. Yeah, JD's the protagonist of Gears 4, and then you take over as Kate in Act 2. And now we're into this new area, which is where things are said to get a bit more open. Kind of Metro Exodus-esque is what I've seen in the reviews.
He said that it's not as linear, the level design anymore. It's more kind of not open world, but semi-open world as it was in Metro Exodus, and it's a kind of mixed up what they've done in the past, and mixing it up a little bit, having it a bit more open.
And there's supposed to be optional side quests and objectives and stuff you can choose to do, or you can just try and do the main storyline or whatever you like.
Side quest, excellent.
Which sounds good to me. Sounds like a good innovation.
Take it or leave it, innit?
Yeah. But some people in the reviews seem to like it, some people don't.
You know, the traditionalists, the die-hard core fans who might like the games as they were, might think, what's the need to change things up? You know,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You've got a good recipe. Why add new elements in when it works so well and it tastes so good? But other people are saying that it's a nice freshening up of the old ways, and it brings fresh newness to the layout. So
that's what I'm reckoning. I mean, obviously I've only just got to this area, but I'd always rather a bit of innovation than sticking to the old formula, because I've got the old games. I can go back and play the old games.
Which is true. It releases today, which is the 6th of September for people who have either pre-ordered or have it on Games Pass.
Yep.
And everyone else has to wait till the 10th, which is in a few days' time. I think it's Tuesday. Reviews have hit so far, and it's doing pretty well. 86 on Metacritic. Not the best score, not the top score, but still very good. And that's at the time of recording anyway. That's subject to change. 82 based on 8 critics on the PC. 86 based on 40 critics on the Xbox One.
Yeah, and it's not just the critics who like it, right? The users are pretty keen too.
Score 8.1 based on 82 ratings so far on the Xbox One. And, a lot of people put a lot of weight in the user score. So if that means anything to you, then there you go. It's doing pretty well there too.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at some of the review scores. One of the best ones, Game Rant, 5 stars. Monetization concerns aside, we can talk about that in a bit. Gears 5 is the perfect Gears of War experience. The Gears 5 campaign delivers everything fans would want from a Gears of War story, with shocking moments, epic set pieces, and actual character development for a change.
Well, I think that's a bit harsh to some moments in the previous ones, but Gears of War is a game series about giant necks with legs and chainsaws.
Yeah.
Like, it's big guys doing big explosions and with little moments of depth. So by all accounts, it seems to have stepped it up a little bit, but not so much that it's being pretentious or anything like that. It's still Gears. It's still, curb stomping your enemies into the ground.
Yeah. I read in one review that this maybe takes a bit of a lighter tone with some of the dialogue. Maybe it's a little bit lighter, not as serious about itself.
Yeah, not as...
A little bit funnier.
Yeah, I think it's not as macho.
But it's still essentially, cover shooter at its heart, and it's got all the... What you know and love about the Gears. I mean, I haven't seen any enemies since you've been playing it. Are there enemies in this game?
Yes, somewhere in this open area. I've currently not found any, which is kind of annoying. But so the enemies in this one are the Swarm, and they are basically just the same as the Locust from the first 3, but a little bit different. There's something mysterious going on, and we need to figure it out. This time you're Kate, And it's very much Kate's story of trying to figure out what's going on because she's been seeing visions, and there's a strange connection to the locust. No, not the locust. The swarm. The swarm.
So she's got some sort of personal thing going on in this game, which is intriguing. Is it? Does it feel like you want to find out what's going on? Or
I like it. That's definitely, I want to find out what that's all about.
All right, so another one of the reviews, 3 out of 5 US gamer. Gears 5 survives on its solid cover shooting gameplay and a campaign that isn't afraid to pose difficult questions about problematic topics. But the largely stagnant horde mode and general mess of an escape mode really pull the sequel back from being a bold step forward. Horde mode and escape mode are additional modes. They're not the campaign mode, so... kind of irrelevant for people who like the solid single player core gameplay game.
I think Gears has always been quite good at getting a fan base for both. People dedicated to the multiplayer and people dedicated to the single player. And I love a bit of Horde. Horde's a bit of bread and butter for me.
Yeah, I mean, whatever position the Horde mode or whatever state the Horde mode or escape mode is in currently, they have promised to update the game in future and listen to fan feedback.
Yeah.
And
I saw someone complaining on Twitter at Cliffy B, former Gears of War director, about the Gears
now
5
retired.
servers. Yeah, now retired from the whole industry. Being, can you do anything about it? And he was just like, no, I'm going to smoke some weed and go to bed.
And I'm pretty much happy about that. Yeah, so The Verge didn't provide a score, but Gears 5 is unexpectedly phenomenal, is the bold headline there. It's the best game Microsoft have published in many years, perhaps not counting anything with Forza Horizon in the title, and it establishes the Coalition as a serious creative force. Even if you've never been interested in Gears of War, I'd recommend checking this one out on Xbox Game Pass at least. It's about as good as blockbuster shooters get.
Yeah, it's definitely a blockbuster. You know, big explosions, big set pieces.
It looks good though as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a great looking game from what I've seen so far. We're playing here on the base Xbox, the original OG Xbox.
Yeah.
And it only gets better from here. Obviously, it's available on the PC. High-end PCs might do it more justice, but for what I've seen so far, a lot of cinematics, like cinematic moments look fantastic. A lot of good imagery. New Game Network rated it a 73 out of 100. Gears 5 offers a familiar action experience that could satisfy fans who gravitate towards its expanded multiplayer options. And yet, the uneven campaign and lack of significant gameplay innovations means this latest chapter does little to draw in the uninitiated, which is kind of goes against one of the earlier ones that I read out there. It's kind of mixed, that one, to be honest. 73 isn't anywhere near par in terms of reviews.
Well, hopefully somewhere up here we can actually shoot someone, because that is where Gears is at its strongest. It's classic cover-based shooting that everyone has done for years. I mean, Gears made the cover shooting thing what it is today and hasn't really deviated until now, so hopefully we can get to that instead of just flying around on a big ski.
How's the performance so far? Like I said, we're playing on the base Xbox. Any bugs, glitches, anything like that?
Nothing major, but at one point the audio was totally out of sync. It was about 3 seconds ahead of what the cinematic cutscene was doing. But again, it only happened in that one sequence, and it wasn't the end of the world. It's something they can easily fix.
Yeah.
There's a few moments of texture pop in, but again, it's an easy fix, and nowhere near as bad as a game like Control was recently. Oh, look, here we go. This is one of the
vision?
Yeah, one of the visions we were talking about, because she's got something interesting going on. And that voice is almost certainly the Locust Queen, who we totally killed in Gears 3. Spoiler alert. The weather on Serra, planet Serra, where this takes place, is a bit more reliable than British weather, because it's normally just terrible all the time here. I think their weather's a bit more lethal, because this storm looks pretty gnarly.
Planet Serra, even the planets are named after women now. It's gone a little feminine.
All the SJWs are taking over the world.
That was a joke.
Oh, that looks like a monster. Oh, so here we go. I'm
Wow.
totally going to die, because I'm completely in the open. Yep.
Wow, Henry.
This is going super well.
It took you half an hour to find an enemy.
And now I'm down.
You just ran out and got yourself mauled. But interesting there. You got revived by one of your...
Yeah, that's always been the mechanic of Gears, is you get shot up a lot, then you go down. Normally get about 2 downs, and then next time you'll just die outright.
So now we've got something interesting to do while I talk. We've got some information about the post-launch support or content, including the monetization and how they're going to deal with that. So this was announced on the 4th of September via a blog, and it's called Operations, right? Operations is the is what they're doing post-launch. Now, what this is a quarterly update which will include new characters with unique abilities, new game modes, new maps for Versus and Horde mode, plus new major features such as map builder support. There are also weekly special events and updates and fixes which they have promised. So there's a lot of new things coming on the regular. Which is great. There's no season pass, but there is what they call Tour of Duty, which is like a battle pass, but this is entirely free. They did say no season pass going in, apart from this Tour of Duty thing, which is a season pass, but you don't pay for it. And you'd expect that. This is a full price game. It's not Fortnite, it's not free, it's not Apex, which both do the battle pass kind of structure, but those are premium battle passes, but these are free. But the Tour of Duty or season or battle pass or whatever you want to call it, it lasts for 3 months and it includes a progression system each time. So you complete Tour of Duty objectives and you can unlock things like cosmetic content such as skins, new executions, blood sprays, which we had a look at earlier, and new emotes and all sorts of stuff, which far as I understand can all be earned without paying, which is always good. There are no gear packs, which was a controversial inclusion in the last Gears, which were essentially card packs that you could buy with real money that dropped ability cards for use in Horde modes, essentially just loot boxes that you paid for, and they made you stronger, right? You could
sounds like a loot box to me.
Pay to win, you could say, with loot boxes in there as well. Weren't very popular, but they're gone now, right? So there's no paid loot boxes this time, but there are supply drops,
which are definitely not loot boxes. But
they are loot boxes.
There's something shady going on there,
you
nonetheless.
Don't pay for them. It's weird how they're trying to change in the terminology and taking away the pay barrier for them, but they still include them. They pitched this game as no loot boxes, no battle pass, but they've got both, but just in a different version. They've called it something else, right?
Yeah, right.
And they're getting away with it. I don't know. So these supply drops are a form of loot box which you can earn, and you can only earn by playing. So they're getting away with it. So that's all right, is it? It's fine. I
like, is this one still gambling? I'm not entirely sure.
Well, they're taking away the
random. Well, the random element's still there, but it's the paid element which is absent now.
Yeah. So the things that you do pay for, you use the in-game currency called iron. So the iron is there that you buy and purchase directly the things that you want, cosmetics, the skins, and stuff like that. There are no pay-to-win things in it. However,
big however.
Hold that and thought. No pay-to-win, but again, they've kind of changed it, and they're doing the Assassin's Creed Odyssey thing where you can buy boosts. So you've got an option of buying a double multiplayer XP boost, double character XP boost for escape and reward, and double speed supply drop progression. Okay, let's get our heads around this, right? This it's kind of doing it's kind of adding an extra layer. It's like adding a barrier from the actual loot box. You can't buy loot boxes. No. You can earn them, but you can speed up the rate which you earn them. So isn't that just like indirect monetization of loot boxes and progression as well? Because you can double your XP. Is this? I don't know. It's some people say this would be pay to win, right? Because you can pay to increase the speed at which you progress your character. You can pay to increase the speed at which you get these loot boxes. Oh, they're not loot boxes, they're supply drops. But isn't that the same? It's just because they've added an extra buyer in there, you can still pay to do it.
Yeah, depends if anything you can buy is gameplay altering or performance altering, like stat buffs or anything like that. As soon as you can pay for that, it's pay to win. There's no question of it.
Yeah.
But if all of your stuff is cosmetic only, it's not as bad because it's cosmetic. It's completely optional.
Well, with PvP multiplayer, upgrading your character, leveling up your character,
with cards and stuff.
You know, that is a pay to progress faster.
Yeah,
right. Isn't not?
Yeah, that's what
double.
That's the new way to do it, right?
Yeah, it's not pay to win because you can't directly term it like that, but it's indirectly pay to progress your character faster. There was a lot of controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Odyssey when they did this. A lot of people outspoken in the community saying how bad this was, and it shouldn't be done, because what they do is they increase the grind in order to incentivize these microtransactions, and it's yet to be seen whether they're doing the same here in Gears 5. But it's funny to me how they're getting away, or they're getting around these shady monetizations practices. They're getting around loot boxes by calling them supply drops, not having them purchasable directly, and allowing you to earn them faster by paying. They're getting around having no battle pass or season pass in there by calling it some tour of duty and allowing you to level up your character faster by buying an XP booster. And they're getting around it just seems like they're skirting around the controversy and making it harder for us to raise exceptions for it, because they were so shitty in the past, these practices, but because they've scaled back a bit, it's not as bad. Not so many people are going to be outraged.
It's part of it will be that no one's talking about it because the game is good and well reviewed. The gameplay's fun, so people are less willing to shit on it. I think some people who have a real problem with it will be kind of afraid to, almost.
Yeah, and the question for me is whether they're doing this in a moral way. And the one thing that stuck with me is looking at the store itself. You can buy iron, you can earn a little bit. Apparently, you could possibly, I don't know how they term it. They say you could possibly earn. Let me see it. You could earn some during Tour of Duty, some iron, a little bit of iron, but not a lot.
Who knows how much? This is some of the newer innovations which I'm a big fan of, because it's only minor, but you can stealth kill enemies now instead of just bulldozing your way through and blowing everything up. Although that's exactly what I'm going to do now, because it's more fun.
Yeah.
But the option to stealth is there, and that's appreciated.
Just to kind of summarize how I feel about this, whether they're monetizing this morally or not. I mean, this kind of typifies the problem with the industry right now, right? You can buy packs of 500 iron or 1,000 iron. However, to get a 7-day boost, it costs you 600 iron, slightly more than the price of 500 iron. And to get a 30-day XP boost, it costs you 1,200 iron, slightly more than you buy, which is 1,000 pack iron, which is like 7 quid. I think
it's crafty.
You can't just buy them outright. And that, again, it's like they're trying to shaft you by have you buy more than you need. In order to pay for something that's slightly less than the amount of iron that you've got. It's like, if they were doing it fairly, if they're doing it honestly and morally, they would allow you to buy exactly the amount of iron that you need, but they don't do that. And to answer the question, are they doing this in a fair way or not a fair way? That to me just reeks of, they're just trying to pull the wool over again. Is that just me? I don't
know. Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted right now by killing these robots. Yeah, I'm actually blowing stuff up instead of wandering around in the snow.
I don't. Maybe I'm blowing this out of all proportion. I'm not going to play the multiplayer mode of this game, but that's just how I feel. And I feel like people get upset about this type of thing in other games more than they are doing in this game. Maybe I'm preempting all that. Maybe I'm a bit early in the progress of this game. Maybe people will be outspoken about this in future. I don't know, but it just seems like they're getting away with the bullshit, and there's not many people.
Yeah, it's a bit of a double standard, because the YouTube channels who are normally right on this sort of stuff aren't talking about it.
Not as yet.
And as of right now.
But the thing to remember is that they have pledged to support this game beyond the launch date. Okay, they're having all these updates, this free battle pass, they're having new maps, new characters, they're adding all this extra free content, but the price of that is this extra monetization. Now, for the people who are going to take advantage of the post-launch content, is this a fair trade-off for them? For me, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to play this game. I'm not going to be invested in the economy of it, of the microtransactions or anything like that. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just calling this out because I'm just calling this as I see it, right? It's not a problem for me personally, but I'm saying this could be a problem for a lot of people. But is it worth it, right? I mean, there are so many games coming out these days. Do you need to spend the time... Unless you're really invested in this game and you want to play it for months afterwards, which, you're going to excuse all these monetizations anyway because you love the game so much.
Yeah, you'll have fun for the, month or so you're playing it and then move on to whatever's out next.
or you stick around and you don't care anyway because you're loving the game. For the people, because the industry as it is, there's so many games and services, so many new games coming out anyway. This is going to be forgotten about by the majority in a couple of months, and everyone's going to overlook it and be moving on to the next game. So I wonder how much of an outcry there's going to be about this monetization, because there is a question mark over whether this is all right now. Interested to see how Jim Sterling's impressions of it are, what his take on it is, because he's the kind of guy who usually kind of crystallizes the community spirit on these types of things. So we'll see what he says about it.
But I mean, these are just kind of our very earlier impressions, because obviously we can't speak to the whole story or anything, or how the game plays like later on. So I only played, as I said earlier, about 3 hours. But I am having a lot of fun in the campaign mode. I haven't played any of the multiplayer yet, and the microtransactions model, it just seems like a bit of a blot on an otherwise really good game.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the point of this video is just to introduce how the game plays, what people are saying about it, because they hide what the monetization is in these games so well. You can't even Google, you try and Google exactly how much the iron costs, for example, and it doesn't tell you straight away. You have to do a lot of digging to find the information that you need. So hopefully we've laid it out in kind of understandable terms and comprehensive enough that you can understand what it's difficult. It took us a bit of research, but so you know exactly what you're getting into when you buy into a game like this, and what the trade-off is. You're going to get post-launch content, but you're going to have to pay for it in terms of, if there's an extra grind in there, you might have to be asked to pay for certain things if you want cosmetics and stuff like that, but that's just the modern industry. That's how they do it, right?
Just comes down to whether or not that's a big enough problem for you, or if you can justify it and think, I think that is a fair deal. So
I mean,
it's your call at the end of the day.
Personally, my personal take is, like any game that has this type of, there are games that do it and they don't have these additional purchases, microtransaction purchases, and anything. Like Days Gone is a great example, right? Post-launch support, they've updated the game, they've
just
modes.
Added New Game Plus, or are about to.
Whereas this type of BS always puts me off, especially since it feels like they're pulling the veil over your eyes, trying to mask what they're essentially trying to do, which is incentivize these microtransactions with XP boosts and grinding things up and shit like that. But that's just my opinion. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Are we done now, Henry?
I think we are.
So thanks for watching our early impressions and gameplay of Gears of War. I almost said it wrong there.
It's not 5. Gears of War, it's just Gears this time.
5.
No more war.
If you enjoyed the content, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment down below, and hit the subscribe and the bell if you want to be notified of our future posts. Support the channel over at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. You can get access to the podcast early, as well as access to the Discord, so you can chat with like-minded people about games and all sorts of awesome stuff. That's it for today. We will see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.